Okay, this video was recommended by Al7899. It's kind of fun to say the YouTube names because to me they don't make any sense at all. This is Max Bruch, his Violin Concerto in G minor, first movement. And so I found this video on YouTube by Judith Ingolfsson, or at least this is who was playing. And I liked her interpretations mostly, and I also liked her bowings and her fingerings. And since I don't have the music with me, and it's been probably 10 years since I've played this piece, I'm going to borrow shamelessly from her bowings and fingerings. So you're going to get the inside scoop of what she's doing. It's a little blurry in here, but because I've played violin for so long, I can kind of tell what's happening, so I'll give you the inside scoop. Okay, so the orchestra comes in, just has this dum bum 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 bum, and then that's all you get, and then you got that open G. So here we go. And I'd never heard of Judith Ingolfsson until I found this video, so it's she's a very good player. Okay, and that's all you get. Now you're totally and utterly exposed. Now what Judith does is she takes her time on every note. Every single note counts. Even the smaller notes. If you listen here on this top part, even the grace notes are placed very well. Da 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 da. She's getting the whole roundness of every note as opposed to skipping over anything. That's very important in this beginning. So now when you first start, I would advise you, if you haven't watched my breathing video yet, I have this one on breathing because of nerves. One good way to start this piece, because it's so exposed, you're going to be probably a little bit nervous coming in. So I would recommend first getting rid of all your carbon dioxide by exhaling, and then giving yourself a good breath. While you're breathing, use that time to get your bow placed to the G string. And then when you pull and start the note, I want you to be exhaling, not audibly, but exhaling. So starting. So when you get your violin up, give yourself a breath, and then when you breathe in, I guess let me back up. So get your violin up, and then from this position, just slowly, very slowly, just start taking in air. And I think what that does is it starts telling your body, hey, I'm about to do an action because, hey, I'm stocking up on this oxygen. Now you got to get it around, get those red blood cells around so that I have control over my body. Because when your oxygen supply is cut off, well, you die. But if it's cut off a little bit, then you lose some of your mobility. So you need oxygen, so make sure you breathe. And you also have to exhale, otherwise that carbon dioxide builds up, and then the red blood cells don't have anything to transport. So, here we go. You see how I'm taking no time on every note? And you want it to feel like it's this, the phrase is da 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 da, and you don't want it to let it fade out completely because there's still more. Ya da da da, the octave up. So you got the first one. Now don't wimp out here. You don't want to go. I mean, you're not giving. What happens is you lose the momentum that you're building up. Whereas if you were to go. And then now. Then you can back off a little bit. And if at all you're questioning whether you're supposed to be pulling your bow this fast or this fast, I would err on the slow side, so at any point. right here, slow bow. Now here, you can afford to start moving your bow a little bit. Sorry about the intonation. But then here, you gotta save your bow. So coming into that note, how slow can you do it from the frog? Okay, that was a little too slow, but... Oh, and for those of you that are curious about the vibrato, when I get up to... I'm doing arm vibrato, which is initiated here from the elbow. Yeah, because that gives it more of a fat sound to me. But then, right here, I switch to wrist vibrato. Because it's a very thin sound, and that's what you can get from wrist vibrato. Whereas if you try to do arm vibrato, it's too fat for me. I don't like that sound when it's that soft, but when it's... Let's try wrist vibrato on that part. There's just not enough sound or fatness of sound, whereas if you do it with your arm, okay, so typically when I'm playing, my arm vibrato will happen during those really intense, particularly when you start the next part. And up here, but then back to wrist. Okay, and again, this is just how I do things, and I don't know if this is orthodox or not, but I find it's very effective, and there's reasoning behind it. If you are going to do something, you've got to be able to reason it out, justify it, because if you can't justify it, then it's probably not a good idea. Okie doke, let's keep moving. And I don't know how much more time I have on this video, so I'll just make it really quick. Oh yeah, so she's got this. Let's see. So starting at this point, which is after those two opening phrases, you want to establish the tempo, because so far I've been very lyrical, and I've also been stretching the time where I want to stretch it. And here you've got the orchestra doing some doodlies, da 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 da, and you want to make sure you stay with the orchestra, and also now the momentum is changed. It's now a very straightforward motion as opposed to this very kind of silky. I think of water. I think of how flexible how flexible the water motion is. Whereas here, now it's more of a dignified. Sorry. Well, and if you're wondering about that fingering, see, I would shift here. And then shift here. In fact, you can even get it a little bit of a, see. Okay, so, and throughout the movement, I guess I'll close the video now, but throughout the movement, there are these two different styles. One is a very lyrical, free style, and the other one, which happens a lot in the second movement, the other one is a very dignified presence. And so you want to make the distinction between those two. The third movement, to me, feels very dignified. And so the first movement seems to have the most variety between these two ideas. And within those two ideas, there are also a lot of other ideas that you can find. But those are the two that I can think of, is the lyrical versus the straightforward. And so when you're practicing that, remember what those are and see if you can identify in the music which one belongs to which group. So good luck.